If you're a blogger, how could you make a few extra dollars? Well, today we speak to Mr. Timothy Tiah, co-founder of Nafnang, a social media solutions and consulting company. I'm Ben Ibrahim, and let's go learn what it's like to run your very own business, as this is Entrepreneur. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneur. As usual, you're with me, Ben Ibrahim, and today we have another special guest. We're talking to Timothy Tiah, co-founder of Nafnang, a social media consulting and solutions company. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Tim, first question, tell us about the history of Nafnang.
Well, actually, I started blogging when I was still in uni, and this was back in 2005. I had this kind of joke blog with a friend of mine, and it got fairly popular. So I got to know a lot of bloggers, and I realized that the blog community in Malaysia, at least, was really huge, but yet no advertisers or no brands went in to engage them. So I did some research, and I found out that it's because what the blog community needed was a company that to act as a hub, an umbrella for all the bloggers in Malaysia to go under and represent all these bloggers. So but I was still studying then.
Right.
So so I promised myself that okay, by the time I graduated, if nobody had come out and done this, I would do it myself. So after I graduated, I actually got offered some jobs in investment banks. I thought I was going to be an investment banker all my life, but then because of the promise I made to myself, I'm going to do this first, and so I never actually even spent a year out working in a full-time job. Right, all I did was internships. This is the first thing I did after graduation.
Now, you were always very excited about the blogging business, and you launched this business in February 2007.
Yes.
What held you back initially before launching?
When I told my friends were like, "Are you sure there are enough bloggers?" You know, and when I talked to bloggers also were like, "I don't think clients or brands would want to engage with bloggers back then." You know what I mean? They're like, why would they? They would rather advertise on MSN or Yahoo or things like that. And then I talked to my dad, and my dad was like, put it very simply, you can make money or not, you know? So I said, yeah, can, and I put a lot of financial modeling together, things I learned from my internships, right? So after a while, my dad supported me. He saved some money for me, gave me a total of 75,000 ringgit.
Wow.
He said, yeah, this is money I saved for you to do your masters if you wanted to. You can do your masters with it, or you can take it and start a business.
I remember the first day when he came to KL and we were sitting in this meeting room in Mindshare. He was, fully dressed up in his tie. He was very ambitious. And it was like he wanted to conquer the world tomorrow. And I think that was one of the values in him, being young and foolish, that actually drove him to be where he is today.
Was $75,000, was that enough?
Well, because my partner came up with another 75,000. My partner is Ming. He's a Singaporean guy. Well, in a way it was enough because we bootstrapped all the way, but in a way it wasn't enough. In the first year, when we started bringing in a lot of clients, with our budget, being very naive, right? We didn't know how to budget for cash flow and working capital. So we booked a lot of deals from clients, but the money hadn't come in yet, but we had to make a lot of payments out to bloggers and everything. So at one point in the first year, we even had like 5,000 ringgit left in our bank account.
Now, you said earlier that you were interning with many investment banks.
Yeah.
Why not a career in investment banking? A chance to make a lot of money.
Even before I went to uni, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just decided, okay, I'm going to do economics because maybe then I can pursue a degree in a career in investment banking. Why? Purely because my family is all in finance. My brothers, sisters, parents all work in finance.
Family of finance people,
Yeah. And also because, investment banking is a kind of job where it's very well known for overpaying the fresh grads.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I want to go there and be one of those overpaid guys, but overworked as well, but overpaid,
Now, you mentioned earlier capital and cash flow was a problem when you first started the business.
Yeah.
What were your other initial challenges when you first started?
There is a disadvantage of starting fresh out of uni. And an experience in terms of how the industry works. We had no idea how the advertising industry in Malaysia worked. We didn't know anyone. The way we got our first clients is that I bought magazines, we would flip through all the ads, we would write it down, and then we'd cold call.
Cold calling, yeah?
Yeah, cold call. We even call our call centers and say, hey, can you put me to the marketing department or something like that, So we really started from scratch in that way. And we made a lot of mistakes. We didn't know how things worked. Funny joke was that when we got one of our first major deals was from Nike. And then Nike actually sent us this thing called a media booking. Now, in this industry, when you get a media booking, you respond with this thing called an insertion order or an IO. We had no idea what an IO was. The email was like, please find attached the booking, kindly revert with an IO. I looked at my partner and we were like, what's an IO? So we Googled IO. Obviously, we didn't get anything. Yeah, we didn't get anything. So I just replied, say, okay, bookings are just secured. And then they just like, huh, what are you guys doing? So, but we became friends later with the client. We made a lot of mistakes also our company has grew very quickly, very fast.
Yeah,
right?
very rapidly.
Yeah. No, we started office in Penang, and it was just 4 of us back then. And today, just 4 or 5 years on, there are something like 130, 140 in our whole group. And we have offices in KL, Singapore, Philippines, Australia, Hong Kong, China, and more recently, Thailand. So when a company grows so quickly, right, you can't, when you're a startup, it's very easy to get things done. But as it grows quickly, a lot of things gets harder to control, things that goes on. So we actually find a need to set up systems. Any company has to set up systems to make sure there's check and balances, there's managers in place, middle management and all that. And that's something that we struggled with for the longest time. We failed to actually establish a good structure in our growing company. We made a lot of mistakes, cost us a lot of money and all that. Right, but over time we learned from our mistakes and things got better. You can have mentors, you can have people with more experience talk to you. Of course. And I have mentors. My dad's a mentor on the business side of things. Okay. I have some of my clients that started off as clients first, became very good friends later on, and then they became my mentors. They taught me how things work in the industry and all that. I was very blessed to have and very lucky to find these great mentors because you imagine that when clients back then in our early days, right, the clients would give us a job and then would teach us how to do it or guide us along the way. Right. That doesn't really work in the real world.
So coaching.
Yeah.
Now, Tim, apart from capital and cash flow, in your personal opinion, what do you think every business needs to survive apart from the capital and the cash flow?
Definitely, at least for my business, people.
People,
because you can't do everything on your own. Right? You always need good partners. You need good colleagues that will work with you. The company's only as good as the people who run it or work it.
He actually listens to you. When he calls a meeting, it doesn't matter if you're the manager or if you're someone new. If he thinks that you have something to say, he will ask you for your opinion. It's interesting in that he gives you the room to grow. His aim is for everyone in his company to actually build their own future. So one thing he's made very clear from the outset, right, which he always used to say is, we're not going to be a Chinaman company. We're going to do things differently.
Like Tim said, it's all about the people. People in terms of contacts and people in terms of manpower. Because Tim has brought up a very, very valid point. When you're young, when you're fresh, when you're green, you may have the knowledge, but you might not necessarily have all the contacts. We're just going to take a very short commercial break right here on Entrepreneur, but when we come back, we're going to learn more about this great business they call social media. Stick with us right here on Entrepreneur. Hello everybody and welcome back to Entrepreneur. You're with me, Ben Ibrahim, and if you're just joining us for the very first time today, we're talking to Timothy Tiah, co-founder of Nafnang, a social media solutions company. Tim, many people have asked me before I came for this interview today, how do you make money? Tell our viewers about your business plan.
Now what Nafnang does is that we have a network of blogs. We get a lot of bloggers to join this community. And in Malaysia alone, we have 200,000 blogs.
200,000 bloggers. Wow. Who would have
In the
thought?
whole region, with all our operations regionally, we have about 1 million bloggers. What we do is that if an advertiser, say if Nestle, if Unilever or anything wants to engage with bloggers, or even with people or personalities on Twitter and Facebook, right? We have another side of the company called Chirp for that. Now, if advertisers want to go into social media generally, they can just come to us, and then we would actually find the right key opinion leaders for each kind of brand. Like if you're, if you're like a milk powder kind of brand, then we look at like young parents, mothers and things like that. Right, so we find these people and then we will engage them, either through a PR model or through a paid model where they would talk about brand review or product or things like that.
Like Vivi Yusof for fashion.
Yeah, like Vivi Yusof for fashion.
Now, how does that work from a cost structure point of view?
We do a lot of things. Like our staple for Naflang is actually like banner ads. We run banner ads for clients, and when you put an ad on a blog, but we actually put it on like thousands and thousands of blogs every time we run a campaign, right? So every time we put it on a blog, then we'll give the blogger a share. So whenever an advertiser pays us, we have a revenue share with the bloggers, and we pay them the rest.
But what is the attraction for the blogger to join you?
For some people, the motivation, money is a motivation in a way, but it's not. I won't say it's the core motivation because. I mean, some bloggers can earn a lot. Some bloggers, and I think you've read in the papers and as well, some of our Naflang bloggers, they earn enough for a full-time living kind of income. Their full-time jobs is blogging, and they buy cars, they buy apartments with their money, right? But obviously, not everyone can do that because you need
not yet.
Yeah, because you need a certain amount of level of influence and traffic, right?
Of course.
So for the rest of the bloggers, what attracts them to be a part of Naflang is the community. They get to meet a lot of other bloggers. They get to go for a lot of movie screenings, like before
events.
Yeah, events and all that. They get to meet stuff. They get to go for parties, things like that. It's just a sense of community for the bloggers here.
Now, to the more established blogger or bloggers, what kind of matrices and systems or incentives have you put out there in the past that have attracted this very well-established blogger to join you and work for you? Because some bloggers might say, hey, I don't need this because I'm very established. I can do this on my own. But you want to work with them.
Yes.
See what I mean?
Yes.
How have you done it in the past? Can you tell us some success stories?
Now, our business is a bit unique in a way, right?
Very unique.
Business, you normally have your customers and you have suppliers. Now, our customers are the advertisers who pay the money, right? So, but our suppliers, in a way, where all our ad space and the things we sell come from, are actually the bloggers, right? But in a way, the bloggers are also our customers, our consumers as well. So we need to go out there and like go pitching to them. It's not like in other businesses where the suppliers come and pitch to you and hope you buy into them. You know what I mean?
Do you get bloggers coming up to you and saying, "Look, Tim, I'm just starting out. I've got a lot of opinions to share with the general public, but I don't know how to put myself out there. Can you help me at a fee?"
They do ask us like how do I get my blog popular, and we do point them in the right direction here and there.
Because you're a consulting company at the same time.
Yeah, but we don't exactly. It's not part of our business model. We don't charge them for anything.
You don't?
Yeah, we don't. What we do is that we try to nurture bloggers in our incentive to actually build and support the ecosystem on which the blogosphere is based on, right? Because if we don't support new talent, we don't bring in new bloggers, right? Then it just fizzles out.
And it's a great way to build relationships, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
So we have been, we found Vivi, we found her blog back then when she just started out, and I was like, wow, this blog is great, right? So we talked to, I talked to some of my colleagues and like, hey, can we just push her a bit? And all we needed just give her a little bit of a push, and she took off.
Right.
Sometimes great bloggers have great content, they have great, they've great humor,
great things to say.
Great things to say. People want to read; they just need to know about it. It's just like your program. Like you guys have a great program going on. You just need people to know about it, and you guys will, whoa,
Yeah. Now, apart from the blogging, tell us about the other operational and cost factors that you have to manage when running the business.
Ours is a very people form of business. So every dollar that comes in, a share goes out to the bloggers. We pay the bloggers. We pay even people called chirpers. Under chirp means the people who do Twitter and Facebook and stuff.
Oh, you guys got a language for everything, yeah?
Yeah. So a big chunk goes out to them, and then the remaining goes to just paying our bills, like this office here, my colleagues and all that. So it's very, most of our cost is just in people. Oh, and in servers.
Tell us about your competitors, Tim. Do you have many competitors?
Yeah, when we first started out, in any business, right, there's bound to be competition.
Of course.
And and the one thing that our competition has done for us is that it's helped us improve,
become better.
Yeah, it does. And when we first started out, we were the first, right? And then we had, right after we started out, I think there were another 8 or 9 competitors that came out within the next 6 months. It was crazy, right? And the irony of it was that my promise to myself before I graduated was that if nobody had started this, I would start it myself, right? But if somebody had started, I would just go and join them and be an investment banker. So if all these competitors had come in earlier, I wouldn't even have existed, you know what I mean?
Now that you mentioned earlier that when you first started, you opened magazines, you did good old cold calling to find advertisers.
Yeah.
And you had to learn the hard way how to do bookings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Today, what is the magic formula to finding good advertisers that you can work with and that you can make money from?
I guess today we're quite lucky because we've done a lot of really good campaigns that have won awards. And so advertisers, and we have like an open channel with most of the advertisers in each country we're in already. Our challenge now is just to keep coming up with great campaigns that would help them, exciting campaigns that would not only help them push their brand, but also help them meet their targets, help them, in any way they can increase sales or sign up, whatever their KPIs are. So that's our constant challenge.
And final question before we go to the commercial break. How do you sell it? How do you sell Nafnang to advertisers? How do you sell it to bloggers? Because they say it's all in the sales pitch. Yeah.
Well, for us, it's kind of, we always start from one thing, which is how do we help a brand grow their business? And then we study it. That's why we never just send like a rate card and then just say that's it. Whenever we get inquiries, our account managers will actually go and meet the clients, learn more about the business, and then think of how to help it. And then if we can help it, then only we put in our products. You know what I mean? Very often, if we can't, we just say, look, I don't think we're the right people to talk to. Why don't you talk to these guys?
5 very important key words when you're doing the sales pitch. How can we help you? That's how Tim does it. That's how his company does it. And it has brought them a lot of success. We're just going to take another short commercial break right here on Entrepreneur. But when we come back, we're going to learn more about social media. Stick with us right here on Entrepreneur. You see, bloggers are celebrities as well, but today we're talking to the man behind the scenes who help the bloggers make a few extra bucks. Today we're talking to Tiah, co-founder of Nafnang, a social media solutions and consulting company. Tim, thank you very much for being with us. Now, you said earlier, and you've explained to our wonderful viewers about the business and how it's going really, really well. So well done to you, sir. But you're the type of guy that doesn't rest on his laurels. So based on that, how do you intend to grow the business?
When I first met my Singaporean partner 5 years ago, that was back in London. And I remember we were walking down the streets in Leicester Square, this place in London. And then we were talking about the internet. We were talking about, wow, how this, back in Southeast Asia, it's still so underdeveloped. There aren't a lot of big internet companies, and e-commerce hasn't even taken off yet. People aren't buying a lot of stuff online, short of etiquettes or books and things like that. So we were like, okay, we want to build this internet company that's in everything internet, right? Like a conglomerate of internet companies. So 5 years down the road, we have sort of done a bit of the framework for that. Like, Nafnang, Nafnang is actually like the blog advertising side of the business, Chirps to the Facebook side of the business. We also have an e-commerce site called Cipaban in Singapore. We invested in a group buying site called Milk a Deal in Malaysia. We have also like a design firm, a web design firm in Singapore called Rippleworks. So we're in all these kind of things. And growth for us is going to come in 2 ways. One is geographically. We're today in 7 countries. We want to be in 10 in the next 1-2 years. And we also want to be in more channels, more facets of the internet, right? Whenever the opportunity comes on that's internet based, internet related, we want to be there.
He embodies the spirit of entrepreneurship. That's how we define it. Like he has built his own niche. He has identified what works in this blog advertising industry, and he's covered it on his own.
In my personal opinion, I think he was very much a people's person. Like the first time I met him, we got along straight away. Aside from me, he got along with the whole industry as well. He knew his stuff very well, and he really knew how to scale his business. All of that came with all his passion and dedication in the industry.
I think he just wants people to look back and say that, yeah, I've done this, I've achieved this, I've done something different, I am my own man.
Now, you've mentioned during this interview, and thank you for doing so, about your mistakes that you've made in your entrepreneurial journey. There is one mistake that you made, and you said that openly in the media, about the $1 administrative fee when you first started. In your opinion, why didn't it work?
Our mistake was that we assumed, okay, it's just $1. We just thought, like, it's not going to be a big thing. You know, sometimes things that you don't think will be big issues are actually big issues, and that's the worst mistake you can make, an oversight of these kind of things. So if we had come forward and said, hey, look, guys, this is... in fact, in a way we did. We actually made some announcements, but it wasn't... I don't think we did enough to make the news known to everyone that this is happening. You know, we made some announcements, but some people didn't hear about it. When they find out about it, naturally, I would be angry too. So, that's a mistake that we made. We came out openly and said, yeah, we made a mistake. We should have been more detailed in kind of pushing the word out, not just one thing like that.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier you didn't work for anybody. You interned for many investment banks. But in that short period of your career, at the initial stage, what did the world of investment banking teach you, especially the tools, the knowledge, and the skills that you use in your everyday entrepreneurial career?
It taught me a lot of things. Like, it taught me about the basics of how to read accounting, right? Like, what to look out for and everything. Today, if I see a company IPOing, I can take a look at their financial statements and be like, all right, man, this one's not going to go. What I mean?
The numbers.
Yeah, the numbers. It taught me a lot of that because I was in equity research. It taught me also, like, how to understand companies, learn more about businesses in different industries and all that. Of course, granted that what we learn, and it's just from the third person's point of view. We're just looking in. We don't understand the business as well as the entrepreneurs in that business understand it. In a way, we kind of like try to understand bits and pieces together, and we put it together. Useful skill for me in work was actually the financial modeling I learned.
Right. It's the research component.
Yeah, the research, because this is a whole new industry, a whole new business. There's nothing to compare it to. So having a model to be able to project how much money you're going to be making and whether it's sustainable or not is...
And final question, Tim. Some tips for first-time entrepreneurs out there on how to run their business really, really well, from the learnings that you've had.
I guess for me, I always come from a school of thought that we're always going to make a lot of mistakes. So for me, my motto in life is always that it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And if you think about it, it's it applies in so many ways. It's like the real mistakes or the real consequences that we bear don't come from the mistake itself, but come from our reactions to the mistake. Because we don't react in the right way, we react worse and it snowballs or stuff like that. And sometimes it's not, even if bad stuff happens to you or in your work or something, it's just how you kind of like react to it and think about it in a more positive kind of way, Again, very cliche saying, but whenever a door closes, a window opens. So whenever something happens, there's always an opportunity to do something, and that's what I learned in life and in business.
And the final business tip that Tim has recommended: always handle a situation which has been created by a mistake, with great care. Don't get scared about it. Just be calm, be collected, and tackle the problem one by one. It's been a very enjoyable interview right here on Entrepreneur. Today we've spoken to Timothy Tiah, co-founder of Nafnang, a social media and consulting company. We'll catch you next week, folks. Same time, same place, same channel, right here on Entrepreneur. Astro Awani. Take it easy. Have a good week. Okay, Tim, quick quiz about you, and you're a very cool guy, so I expect some very cool answers. First question, favorite food?
Favorite food? Wow. Okay, steak.
Steak.
And bak kut teh.
Okay. Second question, favorite overseas holiday spot?
London.
London, yeah.
Because I've spent 3 years studying in London, so in a way it's kind of like second home for me.
Dream car?
Ferrari.
Ferrari. Okay, what car are you driving now?
And Audi.
An Audi, okay. Bit of a way to go.
Yeah.
Okay, an actor
Yeah.
that would play you in a movie if there was a movie called Nok Nang.
Wow. I wish Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake. Okay, the Napster man. You played Napster in the Facebook movie.
Yeah.
And final question, if you were stuck in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
very, very limited resources, no internet, but you only had about 11 ringgit in your wallet, what would you do with that 11 ringgit?
Have a lot of bak kut teh.
Okay, I think you're hungry. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.